What if the Philippines makes a bold move to block China's oil shipments? Such an action could send shockwaves through the global economy, affecting everything from fuel prices to international relations. Imagine a flotilla of Philippine vessels, backed by the resolute spirit of a nation, standing firm against a behemoth. The sight of these ships, small yet determined, would be a powerful symbol of resistance and courage. This is not just about oil, it's about sovereignty and the audacity of a smaller nation challenging a global superpower. The Philippines is asserting its right to protect its territorial waters and its national pride. Chinese oil shipments are the lifeblood of their economy, and the route through the West Philippine Sea is a critical artery. Disrupting this flow could have far-reaching consequences, not just for China, but for the entire region. The Philippines, with its strategic location, holds the scalpel in this geopolitical operating theater. Its position allows it to influence major shipping routes and assert control over key maritime areas. The West Philippine Sea is not just a body of water, it's a geopolitical chessboard. Every move made by the nations involved is calculated and strategic, with each side trying to outmaneuver the other. The Philippines, due to its geography, occupies some of the most important squares on that board. Its islands and waters are crucial for controlling the region and maintaining a balance of power. The stakes couldn't be higher. A single misstep could escalate tensions into a full-blown conflict, drawing in other nations and potentially leading to a larger regional or even global crisis. This isn't a game of risk, this is real-world tension with global consequences. The decisions made here will reverberate around the world, affecting international relations and global stability. The world watches and waits. Every nation, every leader, every citizen is keenly aware of the potential for conflict and the impact it could have on their lives. One wrong move could tip the balance and plunge the region into chaos. The tension is palpable and the margin for error is razor thin. Will the Philippines dare to make the first move? The decision lies in the hands of its leaders, and the world holds its breath, waiting to see what will unfold in this sea of troubles. The West Philippine Sea is not just a picturesque backdrop for a vacation. It's a bustling highway of global commerce. Trillions of dollars in goods, including a significant chunk of the world's oil supply, pass through its waters every year. Control over this maritime superhighway equates to immense power. It's like owning the toll booths on the busiest bridge in the world. China, with its insatiable appetite for resources and energy, relies heavily on this route. Their dependence on these shipping lanes is their Achilles heel. And guess who's standing right on that vulnerable tendon? The Philippines. The Philippines, by virtue of its geographical location, holds a key to this maritime kingdom. It's a small key for a very big door, and it's a key that China desperately wants to take away. Imagine the scene. Philippine patrol boats, emboldened by a sense of national pride, form a steel curtain across a vital shipping lane. Chinese tankers, laden with precious black gold, are met with a simple message: turn back. It's a David and Goliath scenario, but this time, David has a slingshot aimed at Goliath's fuel tank. China's reaction would be swift and furious. Diplomatic protests would escalate to naval maneuvers. Accusations would fly like missiles across the airwaves. The world would hold its breath as two nations engage in a high-stakes game of chicken on the open ocean. The West Philippine Sea, once a conduit for trade, could transform into a powder keg of military posturing. Imagine China, the economic engine of the world, sputtering. Factories fall silent, the lights begin to flicker in major cities. The reason? A shortage of oil, the lifeblood of modern industry. The Philippines blockade, a seemingly small act of defiance, would send shockwaves through the global economy. China's reliance on the West Philippine Sea for energy imports would become its Achilles heel. The dragon would find itself vulnerable, its fiery breath stifled by a shortage of fuel. This economic pain would be felt far beyond China's borders, rippling through global markets and impacting everyone from multinational corporations to everyday consumers. The price of oil would skyrocket. Global markets would plunge into chaos. The world would realize that the West Philippine Sea is not just a regional concern, it is the jugular vein of the global economy. Section 5. Friends in need. The Philippines, facing the wrath of a furious China, wouldn't be alone. The tension in the West Philippine Sea has been simmering for years, with territorial disputes and resource claims creating a volatile environment. The United States, with its vested interest in regional stability and its long-standing alliance with the Philippines, wouldn't stand idly by. The US has consistently emphasized the importance of freedom of navigation and overflight in the region. American warships bristling with sophisticated weaponry would appear on the horizon, a stark reminder of the potential for conflict. These ships are equipped with the latest technology, ready to respond to any threat. Japan, Australia, and other regional powers would also feel compelled to act. These nations have their own stakes in maintaining peace and stability in the West Philippine Sea, and they understand the broader implications of any conflict. The West Philippine Sea is not just a Philippine problem, it is a regional concern with global implications. The sea lanes here are vital for international trade, and any disruption could have far-reaching economic consequences. The international community, recognizing the dangerous precedent being set, would rally behind the Philippines. Diplomatic efforts would intensify, with global leaders calling for restraint and dialogue. The message would be clear: attempts to bully or coerce through economic or military might will be met with a united front. This unity is crucial in deterring aggression and maintaining peace. The West Philippine Sea would become a crucible, testing the resolve of the international community and the strength of alliances forged in the face of adversity. The outcome of this test will shape the future of regional and global security. Section 6. The Price of Defiance. But defiance comes at a price. China, with its vast military resources, could make life extremely difficult for the Philippines. Cyber attacks could cripple critical infrastructure. Economic sanctions could bite deep into the Philippine economy. The pressure would be immense, testing the resilience of the Philippine people and the resolve of their government. The Philippines, despite the support of its allies, would face an uphill battle. Their military, while capable, would be outmatched by China's sheer firepower. The question would be, how much are they willing to sacrifice to defend their sovereign rights? Would the Philippines be willing to endure economic hardship and potential military escalation to defend its claims in the West Philippine Sea? It would be a gamble, a high-stakes game of poker, with their future hanging in the balance. Section 7. The Balance of Power. The West Philippine Sea is a microcosm of a larger geopolitical struggle, a region where the interests of global superpowers converge and clash. The established order, with the United States at its helm, is being challenged by a rising China, eager to assert its dominance and expand its influence. The Philippines, caught in the middle of this power struggle, is a pawn in a much larger game, its sovereignty and security hanging in the balance. The outcome of this standoff would have profound implications for the future of the region and the world, potentially reshaping alliances and altering the global balance of power. If China were allowed to impose its will through economic and military coercion, it would embolden other authoritarian regimes, setting a dangerous precedent for international relations. The rules-based international order, already under strain, would be dealt a significant blow, undermining the principles of sovereignty and mutual respect that have governed global interactions for decades. The West Philippine Sea would become a symbol of either the triumph of might over right, or the resilience of a rules-based system, a litmus test for the future of international diplomacy. The world would be watching, holding its breath, as the balance of power teetered on a knife's edge, aware that the decisions made here could echo across continents and generations. Section 8. A question of resolve. So is the Philippines ready to take such a bold stand? Are they willing to risk everything to defend their sovereign rights in the West Philippine Sea? The answer lies not just in their military capabilities, but also in the spirit of their people. The world has seen small nations stand up to giants before, fueled by a potent mix of courage and conviction. Blocking China's oil shipments would be a risky gamble, a roll of the dice with potentially catastrophic consequences, but it would also be a powerful statement, a declaration that even small nations have the right to defend their territory and their principles. The question is not whether the Philippines has the power to block China's oil shipments. The question is whether they have the will. Section 9. A future uncertain. The West Philippine Sea is a tinderbox, and the potential for conflict is real. The actions of the Philippines, China, and the international community in the coming days, weeks, and months will determine the fate of this strategically vital waterway. This is not a hypothetical situation confined to academic journals or late-night talk shows. This is a real-world crisis with potentially catastrophic consequences. The world must wake up to the reality that what happens in the West Philippine Sea will have ripple effects felt across the globe. The stakes have never been higher. The future of the West Philippine Sea, and indeed the world, hangs in the balance. The question is, are we paying attention?